In this game with the Confederates, instead of coming in and deploying wrapped around here, I'm going to try shifting them to the right, probably be the Union left. I'm going to try shifting them down around this way and see if I can work more around this right flank and not commit so much up to the north here. I'm also going to try to minimize my casualties here on the first day. Try to save more of my strength. Let's see where that gets the Confederates. Wow, what a different battle we have here, isn't it? This is a fascinating situation for Reynolds. What would you do if you were in his shoes right now? Now, Reynolds would know that this is an enemy force coming in. There's an enemy corps. He can tell they're on dirt roads. They'd be kicking up dust plumes. From this distance, he could see that about an enemy corps size force was marching this way. They knew the Confederates were approaching from the, what is that, northwest? What does he do? I see two viable options here. One, we could peel off, change course, and march directly towards the enemy down this road here. Make contact with them as soon as we can, delay them, secure some of this good fighting ground. Now Reynolds knows Howard is coming up behind him. As another objective, I see getting up here and getting control of this road network. That could be critical to the Army of the Potomac's defense here later as this battle develops. We also know there's other enemy forces coming down from the north, so it would be nice to get up here and delay them further. Of course, we could send, if Howard's coming up behind us, so I see two options here. We could confront this force and send Howard up there. He would get up there later than we could. Or we could peel off up north and send Howard here to delay this force. Of course, that would delay our contact with this column and allow them to get deeper in this direction. What's more important? Wow, that's a tough call. I'm not quite sure what to do here. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to take Reynolds down this road and I'm going to make straight contact with the enemy. That is typically what you want to do, and in fact, I'd argue that's what he did historically, right? He marched straight towards the enemy. The enemy was coming down here, so he marched straight towards the enemy, made contact, and tried to start delaying them. They're coming in a different way this time, so boy, I still think that's probably our best bet with Reynolds. What would you do here? Put your answer in the comments. Okay, Hill's up to move next. Now, no good plan survives contact with the enemy unscathed, does it? I know Hill's plan, the Confederate plan, was to skip to the right and sidestep and work our way around. That ran into a brick wall. Wouldn't you know it, the Bad timing. The Union there got 2 moves in a row. Hill tried to alter and jump ahead, but lost. So what are we looking at now? Half of Heth's division is spent, and the Confederates are securely have all this good terrain locked up in a good line. How are we going to slam through that now? I know that's what our plan was just to go down through the right here, but as this has turned out, our plan was also to minimize casualties for at least the first day. We're going to take a beating if we try to fight through that now. We don't have any artillery yet. Good part of a plan is being able to be flexible and adaptable. So you know what? I'm going to call an audible here with the Confederates. Pender comes in here down the Chambersburg Pike this turn. I'm going to hold here and try to push up the middle here through McPherson's Ridge. Try to turn their flank. Maybe we can persuade them to fall back. All right, now I've kind of set a trap here for the Federal cavalry. I put Heth up here. You might think he looks way exposed, but remember, these Federals already moved. They can't hit him now. So the only thing Heth has to worry about here is Buford. Now, so I've left Buford 2 juicy targets. Heth is spent here. He's on the same hill crest, so he has no terrain advantage. So Buford could turn and strike Heth. Who's vulnerable. He could also hit part of Pender's division here. They're in road column still, and he's in range. He could actually hit them while they're in road column. That's bad for me, but I want to try to lure. I'm baiting Buford. I want him to try to attack here. Why? Because if he fights here, good chance he'll end up spent, and he'll be stuck here fighting. Because why is that good for me? Because next turn, Ewell comes marching down from the north. So if Buford's tied up here, Ewell might be able to run way down along these roads a lot deeper than he would be otherwise. So let's see what they do. Buford is up to move next. We're playing solitaire here now, so let's pretend we don't know that, right? So looking at this just from Buford's perspective, what should he do? Well, Buford at this point would be able to see the road dust from the north of the enemy columns approaching. He knows they're coming. It would be nice to whack one of these 2 guys, but I'm thinking the cavalry's primary mission here is to slow and delay the enemy's advance and development on the battlefield. Sure, it'd be fun to stomp a block, maybe 2, but that is kind of a distraction for us, right? I would think our primary mission supersedes that. So that's a nice try, but as Pleasanton, I'm still going to shift my efforts to the north here. See if I can slow that down. Wow, super huge chit pull fight here at the beginning of turn 4. So far, the Union has been getting lots of good pulls and good timing. It's part of why the Confederates have been bottled up. Hill got picked to go first, and I just realized how devastating that would be because Heth can actually march up here and cut off this road. So Reynolds tries to jump ahead of that and fails. Actually, he succeeded. Hill rolled to jump ahead of him and succeeded also. So now the move order is his Hill, Reynolds. There's one other way I could stop that from happening. Howard rolled to jump ahead, and he failed also. Last turn was so bad because, in effect, Reynolds got 2 moves in a row. This time, Hill's going to be getting the double move. Cuts both ways, doesn't it? This is looking a little reckless. But, you know, I figure it's okay to push it a little bit. They can't, I'm vulnerable here in a few places, but hey, they can't hit me everywhere. Because Buford didn't attack Pender's, who is that? Pender's right? He was still in column, so he just kept on trucking straight through Gettysburg, right up onto Cemetery Hill. The rest of Pender's division and the artillery's coming down the Chambersburg Pike. They're in road column and vulnerable to attack from Buford. But remember, Ewell hasn't come in yet. He comes in this turn. Buford can't be everywhere. Heth is out on a limb here. Good chance he might get whacked by Howard coming in. But you know what? That might be a small price to pay for all the ground we've been able to take. Feeling a little bit vulnerable over here on my right, but Longstreet and more reinforcements are going to be pouring in here, so I'm figuring Longstreet can, as he comes in, can deal with our right flank. I'm going to push forward. Yikes! Wadsworth here is one step away from sacking the Confederate baggage, but he doesn't know it. This probably looks more dangerous than it really is. Next turn, if the Confederates move first, they're obviously going to move this baggage train out of there. It hasn't been unpacked yet, so they'll just move it away, and or they'll move up infantry to protect it. Even if Wadsworth moves first, he can move up and contact the train, but if the train moves second, it can just run away. No big deal because they're not unpacked yet. Still, this looks pretty precarious as the Confederates. I'm not too concerned yet because we got plenty more reinforcements coming in, and they're going to be coming right up through here, so I think we can deal with that. bloodbath on Cemetery Hill. Both sides committed and fought to the bitter end. Most of Howard's corps was destroyed, but Rhodes's division was destroyed too. Not so sure if that was a fair trade. Howard moves first. Ewell and Lee both try to get Second Corps moving and get Early to beat him to the punch. They both fail. I was thinking Howard needs to get somebody up here on Cemetery Hill before the Confederates do. But now that I look at it, who does he send? The only division he's got left is Schurz, and Schurz is already holding Culp's Hill. They can't hold both. I guess what they can do is pull a detachment out of reserve. Put that up on Cemetery Hill. It's not much, but hey man, looks like something. Speed bump. Well, Early's attack didn't go so well here on Cemetery Hill. Buford came in and hit his flank. Early kept missing his shots too. With hindsight now, he probably should have fired into Buford instead of forward. Those two hits would have destroyed Buford. Then the rest of the fight would have gone a lot better going forward. This turned out pretty interesting. This would have ended up being on pretty historical lines by the end of the day if I kept Early and Ewell deployed over here and Hill over there. This would be the start of the last daylight turn. It's interesting at this point, we could go any which direction we wanted. The rest of Ewell's corps up here, they could march around here like they were historically. I could also continue my plan of shifting Hill down here and bringing Ewell in there. What do we do with Longstreet when he arrives? There's a lot of different possibilities right now. We could take this battle any direction we wanted. At this point, nobody has still unpacked their baggage yet. I suspect Reynolds will unpack his baggage here so he can rally this line this turn. Wonder where this is going to end up. What do you think of my skip to the right strategy? What are the points right now? Can you see those? Getting some light glare. Point-wise, we're pretty close. Union's 2 blocks ahead. What's that, a 6-point lead? Not much. We'll recover some of these during the night. This battle is still up for grabs.